awesome viewers, welcome to AC Studio. I have here the latest Joytoy Ultramarines Librarian in the Terminator Armour. I regret of getting the last Librarian, which was released roughly 6 months ago. Back in the time, if I know they're gonna release the new Librarian in the Terminator Armour, I'm definitely not gonna get this. And this Librarian definitely looks much better, you know, than any of these here. But actually I still really like the first one, to be honest. I still really love this. It gave me the good old memory that, you know, I was really excited in getting the Joytoy Warhammer figures back in those days when it first started, you know, having these figures available. This figure, in my opinion, definitely not to be missed. But of course, at the end of this video, I definitely can tell you whether it is worthwhile to get or not, right? After I reveal the articulation, finishes, you know, the sculpting and everything, alright? And for those who already know 40K pretty well, this Librarian is the 10th edition of the Warhammer 40K series. It actually appeared in the 10th edition Warhammer trailer, which you can actually watch on YouTube. The 3D rendering on the Librarian looks really stupid. You know, I look at it, I was like, oh, I don't like it. It looks stupid anyway. But this figure by Joytoy looks really good. Alright, let's have a quick look at the box and then open it. Alright, typical Joytoy packaging, nothing really special, and looks like there are not a lot of accessories on the Librarian. Anyway, let's open it, have a look. Took it off the box. Wow, this is actually quite a heavy figure. So it's kind of leaning back, you see. So I think it's top heavy, but if it's stand up, it may not be that bad because it's not leaning. Anyway, and oops, okay, this thing just came off again. Okay, once again, you always need to touch up or fix up on the Joytoy figures. Seems everything is fine, all the joints seems okay. Yep, okay, alright, so I'll fix this now and then I will reveal the figure. Take a look at the accessories before we look at the figure. So these are the accessories here. We are given a set of a fist, and then we also have one holding a weapon or the axe here, you can see. And then lastly, you also have an open hand, and which got metallic blue on it, and that represent, you know, magic on the hand, similar to the first generation of figure. See, same color. But on the second figure, they did not give that to you. Then the first axe, look at the axe, looks really nice. This one, what they did, right? I thought that they were painting silver, but instead they're painting blue. So it looks like the psychic or the magic flowing through the axe. So I really love this color. I think this color looks really interesting to me. Something very different, and the details of the axe looks really nice. Look at the details here, and also on these patterns. Even though they haven't put black wash on it, but I think it still looks really good. I really love this kind of highlighting as well, the silver highlighting on the gunmetal color. And the hammer is actually quite thick as well, it's quite big, and that's how it looks like together with the figure. Good thing is that this figure is a big figure, and what they did is the axe is actually thick enough so it doesn't look like a skinny piece of weapon against a rather big figure. So proportion wise, I think it looks really good like that. You see the thickness of it make it looks good. Alright, and then next we have a very nice Bible. I really love this kind of like pattern on the Bible and the purity seal as well. And yeah, the overall detail looks really good. And then what you do, I think you put it behind on the belts here. So let's put it in there. It is on the ball joint as well, so it should be easy to put in there. Actually, not really.
Much later.
Right, got a Terminator lubricant and put some lubricant in it here. Hopefully it can go in easily. Come on, make it work, please. I don't want to break it. Oh shit. Yep, put it in easily, right? So put some lubricant before you put it inside. It's a little bit tricky otherwise to put it in there. Right. And let's see if I can put this out easily as well. Yep, okay, it works. I did not, you know, break the ball joint. Good. So you can see the bit of lubricant. So easy to put it in there now. Yep, done. Easy. Alright. And lastly, I have this hand bracelet. I always love figures with this. And according to the photo on the box art, you just wrap it on the hand. So let me put this hand off. This doesn't look that good, and use the magic hand, yeah, or the psychic hand, whatever you call it. Anyway, I'm not going to put lubricant on the hand this time though, because usually the hand, you know, will get loose over time, so I don't want it to be too loose now. So I'll try to squeeze it in there if I can. Come on. Done. Yep, alright, cool. And then what you do, you put a bracelet around the hand and put it on the wrist, like that. Let's have a look at the details of the figure now. Figure has all these, you know, what they call decorative elements or recessed lines all over the armor of the body. And what Joytoy has done is they put the metallic blue into the gaps here, so it looks really nice, having the blue color inside all the, you know, recessed lines. You know, look at that armor as well. Look at that. And it's just amazing when you actually turn it under the lights, you know, it shines, you know, so the whole figure looks really dynamic. I think out of all the figures that I got from Joytoy, probably one of the most dynamic figure, because you can see it's all shiny, so when you turn it around, my god, it looks really good, and I really love this. Of course, you know, this is a toy, so they won't spend the time doing the highlighting on each of the edge of each panels, otherwise this will cost a lot of money. But what they have done as well, you can see they actually put a white line, similar to what they did in the first generation of the figures, right? You see they put a white line on the edges, and they actually did the same here, which surprised me a bit because I thought that they won't do that anymore. Yeah, and they put it on the side armor there, you know, there as well, and even on the shoulder pad, they have a white line across there. Look at that. I'm thinking, wow, that's great. You know, they actually highlight the figure so that the figure doesn't look so boring, and the metallic color won't take the focus away from the overall form of the figure or overall shape of the figure. You see, a bit of white there as well. If you look at the second Librarian, this is purely just a plain blue color, no highlighting whatsoever. See it on the legs, so it doesn't look as, you know, amazing as this. So it doesn't look as amazing as this figure, and even as compared to the first generation figure, I do think this one even better than the second one. It has a very nice halo, very sharp on the spike, so you need to be careful. Then the head piece, head sculpt. I spoke to Scallywag this morning and he said the eyes are wonky, so one looking left, not looking right, and he's right. The one that I got here actually got the same problem. And I told him, look, you know, maybe Librarian doesn't really need his eyes, so it doesn't really matter. He just got a wider range of, you know, view, right? Anyway, so this is a funny one. See the left eye looking further that way, whereas the right eye looks like it is looking at the front. Alright, anyway, but sculpting of the face, the beard, looks really good. I really like it. I think it looks really realistic as well. Nice detail. The psychic hood looks really good as well. Look at the painting as well. And you got this white, again, got this white line highlighting the edge of it. So it looks really well defined. So then you got this pipe here, which is soft plastic pipe. And I really love this detail of the pipe as well. Very well defined it. And on tummy, you got this spell of the writing here, looks really good as well. A very long piece of PUT seals, really nice, but I don't think it got enough wash on it. So as per the Stern Guard video, I'm going to put some, you know, brown wash onto this, so make it looks better. And on the side armor, looks very good, like gold skull. This piece apparently is not fixed by a ball joint. It is fixed just as per my 5-year rent video. It fixed on a plastic strap, a soft plastic strap here, right? It is flexible enough that it doesn't affect the legs movement, so that is good. Same as that one, no issue whatsoever. Something different, but it is good because it actually moves up and down. If you have a ball joint just like this one, right, it cannot move up and down. It can only move sideways, and it doesn't break easily, right, because it is soft plastic. Whereas this, the ball joint, is a hard plastic, yeah. So yeah, that's good. That's what I like. Next detail, God, look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? Look at the shiny recessed lines Look at that. Look at this, well, I don't know, these spells or whatever. And then the right leg as well. Look at that. The gold skull with this. Very nice. Purity seal as well. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then look at the shoulder. It got a very nice detailed crust terminators. This is actually really well painted. You know, all the colors are well balanced. You can see the wash are very nice. Then they also have the light kind of like gray highlighting on it. Just looks perfect, this one. Wow, this is probably one of the best crusts I've ever seen on all the Joytoy figures. And then you got a scripture around this upper piece of the shoulder pad. Looks very nice, and it put also the white highlighting on the edge. And on the other side as well, there's more scriptures here. Very nice, shiny. And then you got this Ultramarines emblem on it. Looks nice. You got this funny scratch on it, but anyway, it doesn't really matter, it's minor. Purity seal as well. And at the back, they're not only putting the highlighting, the white highlighting, and they also put the black shadowing on it. So they basically put all the different kinds of, you know, shading or highlighting onto the figure to make it looks much better, and this is absolutely amazing. So I can see Joytoy put a lot of efforts in making this figure really good. And similar to the 30K, you know, Imperial Fist Terminator that I reviewed recently. If you haven't watched that video, please have a look. The shoulder joint design, I was really happy with this. You got this swing out joint, and also it is on the ball joint, on the swing out joint as well on top of that. And this figure actually using exactly the same kind of method on the shoulder joint. So you can do this, you can open up. So you see you got this swing out hinge joint, and then also on top of the hinge joint is a ball joint holding the shoulder pad. And they are actually not loose at all, they're very tight, so that is very good. So what it means is, just like that figure that I've reviewed before, you can actually maximize the range of movement. Something that you cannot do in the older generation of the Terminator. So 90 degrees, pointing to the right side. I think this is the absolute max you can do, which is still pretty good. So you cannot do the same as the 30K Terminator here. This is like 90 degrees. And this one you can do up to here, not absolutely 90 degrees, but still good enough. The reason is because this big piece really blocking it, right? And also don't forget this is Terminator armor. It is not supposed to be that good anyway, right? So this is amazing. You see, it can do a lot on this figure. And also you got a really good pivot joint. Look at that. You can do that, right? Hip pivot joint. Let me try the other one as well. So you can actually have two hands holding the axe. And that is very hard to achieve in action figures. Look at that. Look at the pose. Looks really good as well. So yeah, you can do that as well. And similar to the 30K Terminators, you got all the standard joints. You know, the bicep swivel, you know, double elbow joint. We can do more than 90 degrees. Mid torso joint, we can 360 degrees. Definitely can, yep. And then we have a waist joint as well, which can also turn 360. And then hip joint, which is in metal, just same as the you know, 30K Terminators, which is very important because this figure is very heavy. So it's good that they have metal joint inside. And the great thing about the hip joint is you can actually push down a bit or push up a bit. You see, look at that. So you can push down. That means I can kick up high if I want to. Look at that, 90 degrees or almost 90 degrees. Yeah, so that is amazing. And then you have a knee joint, double kneed, but you cannot really do 90 degrees at all. So that is the only minus to this figure. Yep, and then the ankle, everything is fine. Toe joint, 45 degrees, good. Everything is good. Here it is, the original Terminator figure, which I call this version 1, then version 2, and version 3. I'm gonna have the new Ultramarines Terminators coming soon for the 10th edition. So when I put it together, then I'll know the size differences, right? And obviously you can see this one is smaller, bigger, and then this is the biggest. Look, I have no idea what is happening here. Obviously you can see the latest Terminator is much bigger. The comparison between the Space Marine, which is version 3 Space Marine, version 2 Terminator, I call it a version 3 Terminator, and Guilliman. If you look at the Guilliman and the Librarian, you can see the size comparison here, the height in particular. This is just really big as compared to that. It makes Guilliman look smaller. So it just doesn't make any sense. But if you put these two together, Guilliman and the Terminator, okay, fine. It looks reasonable. And when you compare the Guilliman and the Librarian together, you can see the size comparison, right? I mean, the Librarian just looks too big as compared to Guilliman anyway, or Guilliman now looks smaller, right? Put it the other way around, right? Just don't know what makes Joytoy making the Terminator figures much bigger than expected. But there is no right or wrong. I'm quite sure someone will say, oh look, you know, just because this is a different version or whatever, proportion is different, or this is a prior match or whatever, I don't know, like just, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a fiction, you know, sci-fi figures, so you're never able to figure out exactly what size they are. But when you look at the size comparison between the second version and third version, you can see the differences is actually quite significant. It's not unlike the Space Marine figures, which when it compared to version 2 or version 1 figure, there is a very significant height differences. But the Terminators are really different from each other, right? Even though you say, look, you know, they change the proportions, stuff like that, but proportion is different to scale. Don't forget, your proportion is about the arm size versus the, you know, torso and things like that. Just, you know, yeah, proportion-wise, yeah, definitely looks better, the version 3. And that one, obviously, the upper body looks really big, especially the shoulder. Yeah, but it doesn't mean the size also change. So it's a different kind of like story, right? My biggest concern is whether this, you know, Librarian can able to fit through the hatch or the door of the Land Raider here, right? At the time of making this Land Raider, I already know that the Space Marine has been increased or has been increasing in size. So I have already allowed a bit of flexibility, you know, in allowing a little bit higher figure to fit through the hatch. But I did not expect the figure will be increasing, you know, in height or in size so significant as this. I'm going to test it out now and see whether it can still stand at the doorway. Let's have a look. So I know there's a halo piece, so I cannot fit through no matter what. But still, I want to test the height from the armor here to the bottom of this upper door here, right? So it doesn't fit through, but it doesn't look too bad either. So if I have the legs knee down a bit, which I don't prefer, but anyway. Much later. So yeah, that is how it looks like. So by the look of this, it looks like the top of the armor is just 5 millimeters higher than the bottom of the door, unfortunately, because this guy's a special character, so it should be a little bigger. So when the latest Terminator arrives, I need to see if it is actually the same size as this guy. Wrapping up the video, I think this figure is a definitely must get in my opinion, but I don't think you need to get the previous Librarians. You just waste of money, because this one is much better. The design, the articulation, the finishes are top notch, and I don't think I have a negative comment about this figure, except the knee joint, which cannot able to achieve more than 45 degrees. I think this is the only negative aspect in this figure. But in terms of size, I just don't know what is going on here. The size of this figure is so big, and it doesn't seem to me that it makes sense. In particular, when I have it to compare with the rest of my army, and this figure becomes the second biggest figure after Guilliman. So I hope Joytoy is not actually changing all the size of the figures. Otherwise, you know, that means they have to increase the size of their typical Space Marine. And the Outrider, the ATV Invader, you know, I mean, everything needs to be changed. That means what you bought before become, you know, useless or outdated. Now comes to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think of the size. I'm sure if you are a Warhammer geek in particular, please let us know. But I guess that it is the Joytoy's decision to resize their figures. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.